There are many odd things that our predecessors during the Dark Ages did, which leave us baffled and scratching our heads, even today. These practices can be attributed to reasons like ignorance, lack of technology, and scientific knowledge. Nevertheless, some of the behaviors and practices they indulged in remain quite obscure for us modern century people. Undoubtedly, such was the case of the now famous so-called dancing plague of Strasbourg in the 16th century. Similar involuntary dancing outbreaks had been happening long before then, primarily in Europe, in countries like Germany and the Netherlands, till the 17th century when they suddenly ceased. The earliest recorded instance of compulsive dancing dates back to Christmas Eve in 1021, when 18 people outside a church in the German town of Kolbig held hands and danced together in unison. The town's priest was allegedly enraged by this sacrilegious act and punished them by forcing them to dance uncontrollably for a year. Later chronicles mention the fatal dancing frenzy in Erfurt, Germany in 1247, when 200 people danced compulsively on a bridge over the Moselle River, until it collapsed, resulting in their immediate death. Additionally, medieval scholars also described this overpowering dancing urge that took hold of the Western Germany, northeastern France, and the Low Countries in 1374. Accounts agree that thousands of people danced unwillingly for days and weeks on end, experiencing terrible pain, horrible visions, and begging the priests to save their souls. But as I mentioned, the most notable and well documented of these epidemics of frantic activity is the strange incident that occurred in Strasbourg in 1518, a city in what is now modern-day France. It involved a large number of people who inexplicably started dancing in the streets, seemingly unable to control their movements, or even stop, for weeks on end. The dancers exhibited unusual and frenzied movements, which led to the term dance mania or choreomania being used to describe the phenomenon. They would spin, leap, and contort their bodies in an uncontrolled manner. Some reports even mention dancers injuring themselves or dying from exhaustion, heart attacks, or strokes. The outbreak began in July, when a woman known as Frau Trophea stepped into the streets of Strasbourg and began dancing uncontrollably. She danced for several days without rest, and within a week, the number of dancers had grown from 30 to 400. The phenomenon soon spread throughout the city, and at its peak, it is estimated that hundreds of people were affected. Witnesses describe the dancers as being in a trance-like state, unable to stop themselves from dancing. As I said, they would twist, twirl, and convulse, often until they collapsed from exhaustion. Authorities at the time were perplexed and didn't know how to stop the dancing. In an attempt to alleviate the situation, civic leaders even organized large designated dancing halls and hired musicians in the hope that the dancers could dance their way to recovery. The idea was that by indulging the dancers, they would exhaust themselves and eventually recover. However, these attempts did not effectively resolve the issue. This dancing epidemic gradually subsided by September 1518, with many of the dancers either recovering or succumbing to exhaustion, illness, and expectedly death. Physicians and scholars of the time proposed various explanations and theories in regards to what had caused the dancing plague. Some speculations attributed to supernatural causes such as demonic possession, the wrath of a saint, or a curse. Others considered natural explanations such as imbalances of bodily fluids or hot blood. The contagious nature of the dancing mania is also believed to have been influenced by social dynamics, as people joined in due to a combination of curiosity, imitation, and social pressure. When it comes to scientific theories, the 20th century explanation that they had consumed ergot-contaminated food such as rye bread arose. Ergot is a fungus that grows on stacks of ripening rye, and if ingested can cause hallucinations, spasms, and tremors. Epidemics of ergotism did occur in medieval Europe when people consumed contaminated flour. However, this theory is not considered plausible enough, because it is unlikely that those affected by ergot poisoning could dance continuously for days at a time. Moreover, it is improbable that such a large number of people would have reacted to the psychotropic chemicals in the same manner. The most widely accepted theory is the one put forth by John Waller, an American medical historian, which suggests that the dancing plague might have been a manifestation of mass psychogenic disorder, also known as mass hysteria or epidemic hysteria. Waller argued that such outbreaks are likely to happen under extreme stress-induced social conditions and situations, and in the case of the dancing plague of 1518, such collective hysteria might have been the overwhelming result of a series of famines and the presence of diseases like smallpox and syphilis, which caused immense fear and distress in the community. John Waller also noted that there was a local belief at that time in what was called the Saint Vitus's dance, a condition characterized by involuntary movements believed to be a curse from Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dancers and epileptics, for failing to atone to him. In the end, examples like the ones I stated earlier in the video, of countless medieval dancing plagues, demonstrate a truly unilluminated and enigmatic epoch of humanity. And so it shouldn't totally shock us that in the 1500s, in the streets of a then free city within the Holy Roman Empire, hundreds of people engaged in a mass feverish corporeal activity, which was probably a manifestation of various underlying factors, including health issues, social dynamics, and religious beliefs, all intertwined, leading to the further instigation of the event and its epidemic nature. While we may very well never find out what precisely caused the dancing mania of Strasbourg, it's nevertheless important to recognize that, logically, it couldn't have been just one sole factor that initiated it, but a number of social, medical, and cultural components, which, when fused together, brought upon the medieval people plagues of different natures, one of them also being the infamous choreomania. Thank you for watching.